Review of Standing Orders Subcommittee. With the Sederunt and apologies.
Morning, Chairman. We've got apologies from Councillor Carruthers and Councillor Smith, who's substituted by Councillor Nicholson, and we're missing Councillor Scobie and Councillor Brodie. So 4 members present.
Okay, thank you very much. Item 3, Dumfries and Galloway Council Area Committee Arrangements, report by Director of Communities. Anything you wish to add to report?
Just happy to highlight a couple of issues and get member feedback if that's okay. In item 3.3, where we're looking specifically at the area committee business meetings, one of the discussions we've been having is about, at the moment, they're scheduled monthly, and there certainly has been some feedback from colleagues about the possibility of that being bi-monthly. So some thoughts from you about that would be helpful. And although we have provision for questions to be submitted by the public, there haven't actually been any requests for that as yet. So whether or not that's something that might sit more naturally with community meetings or ward forums in the future, again, that's a second issue that we'd be interested in. And the third element in terms of the community meetings, as you'll know, there's an attempt made each year to schedule a programme for the year ahead. But that perhaps doesn't allow you to pick up anything that's topical or anything that comes up from communities or elected members. So again, whether or not that's something you might like to do sort of as you go through the year is the third issue, which I guess ties into the ward forum discussion, which is the idea that we might have something a little less formal than the community meetings. Have a sort of stronger aspect of engagement around that. And as you'll see in 3321, we could have sub-ward level events. So it could be something very specific to a town or community, or joint ward forums where a particular topic cuts across a number of different forums. So that's really the 3 issues that we're particularly interested in hearing your views on. And once we have that feedback, we could bring forward to your next meeting a suggested amendment in terms of the actual scheme, which the current provisions are at Appendix 1 to the report. Thank you.
Thank you. I think for myself, in terms of the business meetings, if they're left as they are monthly and then left to the discretion of the chairperson in consultation, because I do know there have been area committee meetings cancelled in the past by the chair because of lack of business. I find it galling sometimes myself having to go into Kirkcudbright for meetings which last about 15 minutes. It's a bit galling. But I think rather than making a firm recommendation, we'll leave it at the discretion of the chair. If he's in consultation with the senior officer who's making up the agenda, and they're saying there's only one item on the agenda, they feel that it's not worthwhile having the meeting in that case, I'll leave it that way. But I'm open to members. Ivor.
Chair, I would rather, if you're doing that, you schedule your reporting arrangements again, because every meeting is scheduled for a report. So if you're actually saying, well, we could, if you schedule them, put 2 reports onto one instead of 1, you could then, if there is a month there's nothing, you could take it out, because currently I have police and fire 1 month, social services next, education over the 6-month period, and then the following 6 months is the same again. So if you're looking to do that, you have got business every month. If you were to maybe reschedule those, put police and fire together, social work and education, because they're linked with SIPL, that would free up some meetings, and that might be an easier way, so that if there was a meeting where there was no business, you could actually reduce the number.
Well, I just the difference to Ivor. I mean, it's I think the choice of the phrase "reduce the number" is doesn't convey, as far as I'm concerned, the impression. Area committees are they're extremely important forums, as it were, and I think we've got to be careful that we don't develop a sense of alienation, for want of a better term, that, you know, they really don't matter, they can't do very much, and, you know, at the end of the day, let's cut back the numbers and all the rest of it. You know, I would have to say, Chair, that, you know, this report, as far as I'm concerned, by and large, is very much on the mark. And I think that, you know, if we can sign up to the various principles which are set out in this report, I think, you know, it's a good way forward in taking this council forward. That because when all's said and done, you know, if you imagine the council as being something akin to a pyramid, you know, area committees are, it may very well be pretty near the base of it, but, you know, the base is important. And, you know, I do agree with Ivor's comment about, you know, grouping performance reports on a cognate basis. You know, you've got the sort of the blue light, you know, you've got police, you've got fire, you know, social work, education. I have no problems whatsoever with that. That makes a lot of sense because sometimes I would imagine that there's a degree of, well, there is a degree of crossover that, and it can be helpful and beneficial. But as I say, I have no fundamental problems or disagreements with what's being suggested in this report, and I think if we can take it forward and develop it on that basis, I think we're very definitely, Chair, on the right track.
Just, I mean, I understand exactly where you're coming from on this. There's about the questions. I know there haven't been any questions from the public to the area committees at this moment in time, but is that our fault, or is it, you know, or is it the public's fault? Ward forums, is it an either or? You know, is it an either or can it be both? You know, you might get more engagement, and then, you know, taking up Alistair's point, members of the community might start feeling they are being disengaged from area committees altogether. So, you know, if the opportunity is there, you know, it may be, you know, an opportunity at both, if it need be.
I think again, I think the suggestion for Ivor, looking at the business meetings, that might tie them in a bit better. So we can maybe take that away and look at it. And I think the trouble is with the public participation, certainly on my time Stewart Area Committee, I can only recall about 3 occasions where members of the public have actually turned up. That's probably because of the timing of the business meetings in the morning, which isn't the easiest time for people. I do know at Nistdale we get a band of regulars who tend to come along, but the community meetings, unfortunately, certainly in the Stewart Area and Nistdale, tend to have been hit and miss. You know, I think there was one period last year with sort of 3 in a very short period of time, and then nothing. And I can't mind the last time they'd won in the Stewart race. So, and if you're wanting to engage with the wider community in some of the issues, then probably the community meetings are the ones that need to be a bit better organised than they are at the moment. Ivor?
Chair, I think I'll get your rake maybe here. You've got your business meetings, which, to be honest, people aren't going to write questions in about your performance unless they are specific to themselves. If you had, like, your business meeting 1 month and a community meeting with the rest of the sort of stuff that we do, you know, whether it's community, common good issues, etc., that come from the Common Goods Committee, the following month on an evening when people can attend. So you'd have month about business community, because some of the community stuff that comes through is very dry, and the public aren't really wanting that. They want to talk about topical issues, which maybe we don't really, you know, like the White Sands, you see people turned up for that one because it was something topical. And we're not getting that sort of engagement on things like third sector first. You know, that's one where people, what is it? You know, I had a feeling, whereabouts is it? I'm up and down this street 2 or 3 times looking for the bit, couldn't find it, you know. And it's things like that. You need to get something that'll catch people's attention for the community meetings. So I don't know whether we could have it more regular schedule so that people know when they are, because if it's on this week and then next week you've got another one and you don't have ones for 6 months, people either lose interest or, oh, I missed it in my diary that week. So maybe a regular scheduling of the community meeting.
Well, what I can say, I mean, there's a number of issues there that perhaps Elizabeth needs to take a wee look at. Now, I think we're going to have another meeting in this committee anyway, because there's other things need to be tidied up, probably towards the end of August. So would you be happy for some of the suggestions that we made this morning to be taken away and brought back to our next meeting to see where we want to progress them further and have them enshrined in the stand orders? Would that be a way forward? Alistair?
Well, in the interest of democracy and discussion and debate, Chair, you know, I think I've no problems in support of what you're saying. That doesn't mean to necessarily say that I'm happy with what I'm hearing or what's been suggested. And I'll leave it at that basis at this moment in time. Thank you.
I'd be happy to accept the recommendations with a further recommendation that in view suggestions being made, Elizabeth can go away and take a wee look at some of the other issues there, and we'll get a report back to our meeting at the end of August. And I think, what's the other agenda items for August?
Finalisation of teams of delegates that need on an interim basis.
Okay, thank you all very much. We'll see you two gentlemen at the next meeting.